Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video we are talking about procrastinating, which is funny because I should have done this video last week, but I'm doing it now. I'm here. I am a procrastinator at heart. Am I proud of it? I don't know. I'm still deciding, but I procrastinate, and I've realized that my main reason for procrastinating is because I'm just not interested. Like, if I'm not interested in something, I'm not invested in it, it's not motivating, I don't want to do it, I don't care, I think it's a waste of my time, I'm gonna wish it away, I'm gonna try and avoid it, try and act like it's not there, try and forget it until the very last minute when I have to do it, and then I'll just be like, crap, like, okay, I guess I have to do this thing because it's still here, right? And I would actually do this even in varsity, even in high school. I was that kid that would study the day before a test. One, because I knew I would pass, right? I just knew that, I'm going to pass this. But two, I was just like, why? So I would be this kid that you would see at the library planning to cross night and write an essay because I decided to do it last minute. And for whatever reason, it actually worked every single time. And I never failed. In my 4 years of being at Wits, I never failed a module, not even one, right? So I'm not saying procrastinate, but I'm just like, for me, having enough time to do something is not enough motivation for me to get started. It sounds bad, but I know. Anyway, if that's what you're interested in, I'm going to discuss 5 types of procrastination and possible fixes. And if that sounds like something you want to hear and you're interested in, then stay tuned and let's get on into the video. Okay, so reason number 1 is fear. And I'm talking about a fear of failing. Human beings generally avoid failure. Nobody wants to look like a fool. Nobody wants to be rejected. And we feel a whole lot of anxiety when we are pushed to do something that we are actually uncomfortable about, right? And in a case like that, we would procrastinate because we're not so positive about the end result, right? And we generally foresee the end result is something that's going to work against us, or it's just going to be a failure. Like, maybe it's something that you tried doing, right? And you failed at it and you're not so eager to do it again. Or you just like, I don't see myself doing this. Like, I don't even feel comfortable with doing it, and you just avoid it. Like, you just procrastinate and you want to wish it away, right? And in a case like that, I would say, number 1, call it out, right? Like, be very honest with yourself and call it what it is, that I am actually procrastinating because I think this is going to end in a disaster and I think I'm going to fail. Call it what it is and be very honest with yourself as to why you are procrastinating. And number 2, just do it. And I'm saying this because there are people who actually say that you can use fear and resistance as like a compass to your destiny, right? Like, we tend to feel a whole lot of resistance towards doing things that we are supposed to do compared to doing things that we're not supposed to do. For instance, you're not going to feel a whole lot of resistance when you're trying to watch Netflix for like the next 12 hours, right? If you want to be a couch potato for the day and you want to Netflix and chill, you won't feel a whole lot of resistance towards that. In fact, you won't feel any resistance towards that. And that's why a lot of people just do that and we end up not doing anything productive, right? But if you want to put together that business proposal, you want to put together that business plan, you want to start writing the first chapter of your book, you're going to feel a whole lot of resistance towards that, right? And use that, or when you feel that resistance and you feel that fear, use that as a sign to do whatever is in front of you, right? Because it might lead you to your destiny. I think that's the argument, but I get it. So if you are procrastinating because of fear, just call it out and just do it and see what is on the other end of that fear, like on the other side of fear. Reason number 2 is complexity. So when you have a task in front of you that is so complex, right? it will come across as daunting, it will come across as intimidating, and you will eventually not want to do it. It's not going to start off as I don't want to do this. It's going to start off as I cannot do this, right? You're going to feel like you're not skilled enough to do it. You're going to feel like you don't have enough resources to do it. You're going to ask yourself how you're going to add value if you don't even know where to start, right? And if it's anything related to your workplace, you're probably going to wish that your project manager or your line manager or whatever takes the project or the task and gives it to somebody else. And that's probably not going to happen. You're going to have to do the work eventually. But I think the fix for this is to just break it down. Really, like if you have something that is so huge in front of you, break it down. And when you look back, you'll realize that it's not so intimidating anymore. It's not so daunting anymore. And it's something that you can take like line by line or bite size by bite size, and it's going to get the job done. Besides, I think there's something very satisfying about crossing off something or ticking that you actually did something, and as you go it will get the job done, right? And instead of looking at it as one huge thing that you cannot do, it's gonna look like I can actually do this, but I need to have a strategy, and I'm gonna take it line by line, piece by piece, tick by tick, and eventually I'm gonna have the whole thing done. Reason number 3 is laziness, a lack of motivation, or a lack of interest. And I'm very wary of using the word laziness because my mom used to call me lazy growing up because I didn't want to wash dishes. And I'm 25 today, I'm turning 26, I have a child, and I still have zero interest in washing dishes. Like I would do anything other than wash dishes. I generally hate chores, but washing dishes is like up there. Like I'm not gonna do it. I hate it, right? And growing up, I kind of realized that actually I'm not lazy. I just don't want to spend my time doing something that I'm not interested in, because I would say no to washing dishes, but I'd be okay with cleaning the whole house, for instance. Or I'd say no to washing dishes and have the time in the world to make TikTok videos every single day. And I kind of realized that it's not that I don't want to do anything, but I want to do something that I actually love, and I want to do something that I'm actually interested in, and I can find motivation to actually do the task. And when you are not motivated to do something and you have zero interest in doing something, not only are you going to procrastinate and later becomes later and then later becomes never, you also going to sort of like rebel against the actual act. Like you're just going to say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. And then later on, it's like, I'm not going to do it. Like, I'm just not going to do it, right? And I think the fix for this is to reward yourself with something after you've done the act or the task or whatever. And you sort of get to focus on the reward and not the act itself. Or for me, you just get somebody to do it for me. Like I gladly pay for my dishes to be washed and my laundry to be washed and for all my chores to be done. And then I have all the time in the world to make YouTube videos, right? Reason number 4 is distractions or a lack of focus. And with distractions, you're literally doing everything other than what you were supposed to be doing, right? And I'm doing this certificate or like a course with Faculty Training Institute, and one of the modules that we looked at a few weeks back is time management, and we looked at the time management matrix by Stephen Covey. And pretty interesting, right? Because you sort of like divide your work or whatever you have on your to-do list according to urgency and importance, right? So you have these 4 quadrants of urgency, not urgent, or urgent, not urgent, important, not important. And if something is urgent and important, you have to do it. And it has to be like number 1 on your priority list because it's important and it's urgent. For instance, like a project that you need to finish off at the end of the week, right? So that you have to have on your priority list. It's very important and it's urgent. Or you can have something that is urgent, but it's not important, right? And that can be something like a coffee machine broke at work and we need to have a meeting to discuss how we're going to fix this. And you're not a coffee drinker. It's an urgent thing because people need their coffee at work, but it's not important for you because you're not a coffee drinker, right? So you can have somebody go to the meeting for you, or just don't go because it's not important for you, even though it's urgent for everybody else, right? Or you can have something that is important, but it's not urgent, right? And that would be something like your December examinations, right? They're very important. You're going to need to pass those exams for you to pass the year module or the end of the year, but it's not urgent because it's only in December and it's June now. So you can push it back and only attend to it when it becomes urgent, right? And then you have our favorite quadrant, which is not important, not urgent, and those we call time wasters, right? Like being on Twitter and giving people your opinions about whatever, like, oh my gosh, don't do that. Watching Netflix, it's not important, it's not urgent, it's just something that you want to do. Don't do it, it's wasting your time. And most of the times we find ourselves doing all of these things that are time wasters or distractions, right? Netflix, Showmax, catching up with, what do you call this, keeping up with the Joneses and keeping up with the Kardashians and like reality shows and all those things that are really not urgent. Like you can even do it later, like this video, right? Yes, it's my video and I want you to watch it, but it's actually may not be that urgent or important to you, and that is why YouTube has this watch later feature. You can just watch it later. If you're scrolling through something and it piques your interest, put it at watch later. That's what I do, and I'll watch it later when I actually do have the time to waste and be on YouTube and be on Instagram and give people my opinion on Twitter. I don't have Twitter, it's just an example. I hate Twitter. So yeah, how you fix this is disconnect and be very intentional about setting time aside to focus on the things that you need to focus on. And also don't be that person that fills their calendar or their schedule with everything that is important, that you forget to leave time for things that are fun, even though they're not urgent or they're not important. Because what we're actually going to do is you make the time to be on Netflix for a good 5 hours when you know for sure that you need to be submitting something tomorrow or you have an exam and you need to be preparing for it. So be fair with your time and set time apart for those important things and those urgent things, but also allocate time for things that are just nice, right? Like nice to have. Okay, number 5 is perfectionism, and this for me is like the most interesting, right? Because what happens is that people will literally spend so much time planning, thinking, wishing, daydreaming about how they can make something super perfect that they actually don't get to the part where they make it perfect. Like you don't even act on it, right? Like you're busy planning, like, oh my gosh, this needs to be so perfect and I'm gonna do this and I need to do this, and you have all these ideas that you actually don't get to start. And I see this with a whole lot of YouTubers, like new time beginner YouTubers who are like, oh, I want to have a YouTube channel but I don't have the perfect camera and I'm waiting to start a subscription on like the best editing software. And it's like, just start. Because perfection is very subjective and it's often unattainable. And if you're going to start something, you will come across so many flaws, right? If you actually do get to start, you will even come across so many flaws that if you want to go back and fix it, you might not even finish the task. Do you know what I mean? So you find people who are just like, no, I want it to be perfect and I want to have all the equipment and I want to think of every possible thing that can go wrong so it doesn't go wrong. And you never get to start. And with the YouTubers, they never actually get to start because it might take you months to get that perfect camera. For me, I'm just like, get started. That's the fix. Get started, use your phone, use your background in your room, use your wall. If you don't have like the greatest equipment and backgrounds and colorful things and all these lights and stuff, just get started and you will perfect it as you go. We have come to the end of the video, and if you are a procrastinator like me, please comment down below what your main reasons for procrastinating are, and if you think the fixes that I dished out or recommended can actually work for you, right? And thank you guys so much for watching this video, and please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. But it's not urgent, so you can push it back a little bit, and then maybe when you're like in September, no, I'm filming, Bobby.
Hey, mommy.
Hi, I'm filming. You disturbing me. I actually had a great time. I was making an example.
Oh, damn.